All right. Thank you so much, Mickey. That was amazing. Woo. Absolutely amazing. And we're going to wrap things up now. So what hopefully you've caught a glimpse of is that everything that we've been talking about so far, everything we've been doing, everything had a point. And there's this thing called systems. And sometimes you're like, man, I just want a system. So I'm telling you right now, I'm going to put a bow on this whole thing, and I'm going to give you a system. If you'll just follow the system, I liken it to, follow the yellow brick road, follow the yellow brick road. Dun, 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 dun. You know the song?
Yes.
Come on, you guys know the song.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the yellow brick road. This is a yellow brick road. If you'll just do this, you'll be totally fine. What I don't want you to do is start thinking, okay, I'm on the yellow brick road, but as Andrew said earlier, squirrel. And then the next thing you know, you're not on one of the next pavers on the yellow brick road. You're off beating down some trail all by yourself. And all I know is if you stay on the yellow brick road, you'll be fine. You'll duplicate faster than anybody else. You'll rank advance all your people. When you're talking to each other, you're all speaking the same language. You get it, you understand, and you can almost be like, okay, out of the yellow brick road, which of the pavers are you currently on? But there are no surprises. When they're saying, here's the paver I'm on, you're like, okay, great. You know exactly where somebody is at in their journey versus, what the heck is that paver? Where did you invent that one? Where did that one come from? That's not part of the yellow brick road. You're on something else. So just stay on that little trail and you'll be fine. So here's the first thing. We all have people, we all have contacts, we all have prospects, etc. The most important thing you can do is realize that each time you're working with a new person, there's the same journey that they have to get on. So you got to put them on paver number one. So paver number one is this thing called imagination. Okay, it's imagination. This is something you must do this exercise with every single person. If you don't do this part of the exercise to begin their journey, and it's in order on purpose, if you don't do this part of the exercise, you are cheating them, you're robbing them, you're stealing their joy, you're making it much more complicated than it has to be for them to have a successful journey. So when I say imagination, what's the first thing that comes? What do you think that means? If you're sitting down and talking with a brand new person, where does that word come into play for them?
What does the future look like?
What does the future look like? I think that's pretty well said. We could probably stop right about there.
Yeah.
So nobody else say a word. What does the future look like? Compared to what?
Now.
The future.
Compared to now, right? So compared to now, what do you want your future to look like? So that's the exercise. You have to enjoy that part of a conversation and let them describe what now means. What does now look like for you? And they're going to say things like, I don't spend very much time with my family. I work really hard. Man, I've got to commute back and forth 60 miles each way per day. The time in rush hour traffic is killing me. It's taking a toll on me. Over the last couple of years, I've started noticing some symptoms in my life. I'm getting further and further behind. I've got a couple credit cards now that I got to figure out how to pay off. My oldest is getting ready to go to college. Oh my word, how are we supposed to pay for the tuition for that? Have you looked around at schools lately? It's like $30,000 to $60,000 a year. What do these people at universities think? Money grows on trees or something? Have you ever heard of this thing called student loan and debt? Oh my word, and they'll tell you this stuff if you ask the right questions. And what do you do the whole time? You get your notebooks out, you pull out your smartphones, and you say, excuse me, I am not being distracted, I'm not off in the weeds, I'm listening to you, but what you're saying is so important for me to grasp, I'm taking notes on my phone. I'm not going to let this go to waste. And when they know you're listening to them, they'll tell you more. If they think you're not listening, they'll tell you less. So the better you listen and the more active you participate in the listening, the better. So when you're listening, you're looking in someone's eyes and you're nodding with them. And you're like, you raise your eyebrows. You're giving them a body language that says, I hear what you're saying. I'm with you in this information. I'm going to travel this road with you. I know it hurts. I know it's painful. And I'm going to be there with you in this journey. That's what that says when you're an active listener. And they can hardly believe it because who listens to your junk anyways? Nobody wants to. Nobody wants to listen to that because they got their own problems. So suddenly you realize that you're playing in a world where it's no longer about you. Up until this moment, it was about you, but it's not about you anymore. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Now you have a whole profile on them, and you know what now looks like. So when I say, I get you, all those things you just said, let me tell you what I heard you say. I read it back to them. So what you're saying is, and they go, yeah. And now they know that you really did listen because you recited it all back to them. And now you're going to be in agreement with them, and you're going to say, you know what? I didn't necessarily travel the same path as you, but so many of these things you said I can totally relate to. I get what you're saying, and I used to feel exactly the same way. And here's what I found. I found that I didn't have to live in this world anymore. And from the likes of it, as far as I can tell, I don't think you want to either. Is that right? And they say, that's right. So you see what you're doing? You just got permission to help them move from point A to point B. Now you're their leader. Now you've got total control of this situation on their best interest, on their wishes, their command. So what's next? You've got a roadmap. And the spur in the side is that roadmap. For every moment into the future, you can always come back to this roadmap. So I just say it like this. I say, John, with all this information you just shared with me, how badly do you want to leave this in the dust? How badly do you want to kick that thing in the teeth? How badly do you want to see that in the rearview mirror? Like, could you put that on a scale of 1 to 10 for me? And every single time, they'll say 10. Every single time. Nobody ever says, yeah, you know, all that pain I just talked about, there's still a little portion of me that I just really want to hold on to all that. So why would they say anything less than a 10? So they just went into agreement with you and went into agreement with themselves that there is no chance that anything stops them. And I even come back and I say it like that. I say, so John, I hear you. It's like 10 out of 10. You're ready to get the heck out of Dodge. Yes, I am. Great. What's going to stop you? Now, this is a really important question because there's only one word that's the correct answer. You know what it is?
Nothing.
Nothing, that's right. One word is the only word that pacifies this question. Any other word is totally unacceptable, and if they create another word, I'm going to call them on it. So nothing will stop you. Great, because here's what can happen sometimes. You're so into your old programs that you can actually go back and you can start saying, well, you know what, I am a single mom, and sometimes, you know, I have to do the babysitting thing, and sometimes, and you start inventing these things, and whatever they come up with, that's the thing that will stop them. But they just said nothing would stop them, or they said something would stop them. And so if they say something will stop them, you have to remind them that nothing is the only correct answer, and that if you just invented something, you have to work through whatever that is so that they come to believe that nothing will stop them. If they still think something will stop them, that thing will stop them. Yeah. You follow?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, you got all that in the past. That's number one, imagination. Part 2 to imagination, so there's an A and a B. B to imagination is, what do you want your future to look like? What would be the best case scenario? If this isn't it, what is it? And they start to get dreamy. They start to say, oh my goodness, I want to have this much money. Here's what I do with it. I've always wanted to travel. Here's where I go. I've always wanted to get in shape. This is the kind of shape I want to get into. I've always wanted to own my time. This is what I do with it. I always wanted to be an active parent. Here's how I'd show up as an active parent. I've always wanted to have a better marriage. This is what I think it would look like. I've always wanted to drive these cars instead of these cars. Here's the ones I'd rather be in. I've always wanted to roll up my sleeves and give up myself and my time and my energy and be a philanthropist and travel around the world and go to Ecuador and go serve underprivileged kids. This is why that would make me feel good. And just like you wrote down the description of here's what now looks like, you're now going to make another list. Here's what my ideal world looks like, and here's what my future looks like. So you've got two different things that lay side by side together, and they're exactly opposite. And then you say, let me get this straight. So if everything was in a perfect world, this is what things would look like for you? That's exactly right. Great. And I want you to know, John, you and me, we're in this together. I am not going to sleep. I am not going to slow down. I'm not going to stay down. I'm going to help you do that. With everything inside of me, we are partnered. We're going to lock arms. I am diving headfirst into that swimming pool, into the deep end with you. I'm getting muddy. I'm getting in the trenches. We are going to travel this journey together. And I'll tell you, there is no better music in the entire world than the music that someone hears that says, I'm so important that you're willing to put all of your priorities aside and serve me. It's the most beautiful music in the world. And when you put their name in the middle of it, you say, Coral, I'm going to help you. Jen, you're my project. Monty, I am all over you like white on top of rice. They go, okay, I'm in. You see how you couple that with what Joel talked about a little while ago? If you talk like that with people and they believe you, remember, as he said, leadership. Everybody's looking for leadership. And that means that someone has to say, I'm the leader. And when you say, I'm the leader, then they say, great, I will follow. And that's how this works. Real simple. That's the first step. Pretty cool first step, isn't it?
Yeah.
The first step is always the most important step. If you take the first step, then there's a step number 2. If you never take the first step, it's interesting how people attempt to skip steps. Have you ever ran up a flight of stairs before and you've seen somebody that gets a running start and they leap so high they can like jump up like 3 or 4 steps at a time? But pretty soon you're not able to maintain that momentum and you start slowing down and you just don't want to miss some of these steps. So just hit the first step and then keep going. Otherwise, you'll find you have to go backwards. If you skip those steps, they're so important. You're going to get up here, and you're going to go, you know what, that part mattered. I better go all the way back down here and capture that portion so that I can come back. It'll waste time. Okay, number 2. Number 2 in the system is that you've got to put yourself in a position to lead. If you understand this is about leadership, and you don't put yourself in a position to be the ultimate leader, then you're going to have people following you and you're going to lead them off a cliff. You do not want that image in your head. You have a responsibility to lead the people that are willing to follow you. Just make sure that you are in the right place to successfully lead people. This is a big danger zone. It's a fatal flaw, if you will, in all areas of life. You see people faking and posing, but they're not really capable. You be capable because you can. And when you're not a fake or a phony and you're the real deal, that's going to be your reputation. And that will spread like wildfire faster than you can blink about twice. So when you do things the right way, that becomes the reputation. People are so hungry for good, solid, grounded leaders, you'll be the talk of the town. So here's how you put yourself in a position to start leading. You must be what you expect them to be, and that is CEO qualified. If you're not CEO qualified, then you can never call them into action to do the same thing. The biggest money will be because you're CEO qualified. The best testimony you could give is because you're CEO qualified. You understand that that's not you writing a check or giving your credit card for $499.99 just so you can say I'm CEO qualified. The point is that you've got it in you. Physically, you've got it in you. We need you to do what Nikki just did, to say, I got on these products and followed the keto plan with all 3 things, the shakes and the bars and the Keto Rev product that just came out, and I've already lost 7, what was it, 24 to 17? 20 inches.
7%.
That's what it was. I knew it was 7 something. 7 inches of body fat, 7% body fat. 7% body fat. That's a testimony, guys. You've got to be able to talk like that. Here's what it's already doing for me. Here's what it did for me. You've got to have a story like that. And you won't have that story like the person who gets into a position of being CEO qualified. It's really vitally important. And one more thing that I think was really paramount, and it was great to hear it from Joel's lips to your ears, when he said, $500, are you kidding me? Get over it. Find a way. People are running around with laptops and mini pads and iPads and maxi pads and all kinds of stuff. So for goodness sakes, go sell one of your pads and let's get this party started. Did I really just say that?
Yeah.
I was wondering what you guys were laughing at. I did say that, didn't I? Every now and then. Every now and then. Yes. I just was seeing if you guys are paying attention. Clearly you are. So. Oh well.
That was awesome.
All right, thanks. Anyhow, there's no excuse. $500, it really in this world of America. After all, we do live in the land of the free and the home of the brave. So for me, if somebody starts making excuses about $500, it's like, you've got to be absolutely joking. I'll tell you one fast story. Some of you have heard it before, but those of you that haven't, it makes a point. My time is valuable, and so is yours.
Yes.
When I travel 167 miles to go show somebody the plan, I expect there to be an outcome. I expect there to be an outcome. I'm not driving 167 miles one way to go waste my time, all to have to drive all the way home and think about the time I wasted. So I got down to this place. I sat down with a person that I was working with one of their prospects. He and his girlfriend sat down with me and my friend. We're sitting at the table. I show him the plan. I get all the way done, and he says, let me think about it. And I thought to myself, wait a second. We just started this conversation with where you are and where you'd rather be. And you said you were a 10, and now you want to think about it? So I looked right into his eyes and I said, you got to be joking me. You want to think about this? I thought you just told me, and now you want to think about it. I said, let me tell you what I'm thinking. You're fired.
Right on.
And he goes, what? You can't fire me. And I said, I just did.
Oh.
Done. And he was so stunned and taken back, like, whoa, what just happened? And his girlfriend, literally, she just goes, boom, like that. And she says, are you kidding me? Do it. Get your credit card out right now and give it to him. And he goes, oh, so you want to do this? And I said, see, she's not mamby-pamby messing around. She knows what she wants. I expect you to do the same thing. And he was like, all of a sudden shaped up and ready to rock and roll. But we did an order right then and there, and that's the way my mind is set. I just don't have time in my life because my dream is so huge that I will not allow for somebody to joke around with me and waste my time. Either you mean what you say or you don't mean what you say, but for goodness sakes, figure it out. You see the attitude there?
Yes.
Can you feel a little bit of heat coming out of me right now?
Yes.
Okay, so that's just, it's posture and it's confidence.
Yes.
That's what it is. Get that. Posture and confidence. Even if he didn't do anything. I didn't know for sure that would be the outcome of my little charade, but I did know this. If I was going to drive home 167 miles, I was going to feel really good about the way that I showed up.
You're right.
Right?
Yes.
And you should too. You should too. So, CEO packs, everybody needs one. One time. How many times do you get a CEO pack?
One time.
One time. And then it's real simple. You just switch where you shop. 4,000 products, people. It's not a big deal. Just pick some. And by the way, here's a great way to do a party. Here's a great way to do a party. So some people have come into Youngevity with the mindset of let's do parties, and some people come into Youngevity from the mindset of, let's be professional network marketers. There's a marriage between those two. And for those of you watching on camera, let me show you the marriage here. Here's how my wife and I do parties. We bring them to our house after they've said yes to the business. So the first thing we do is we show every single person the business plan. Everybody sees the business plan. Okay, this is really important. It's super important that you get this. They must see the business plan. If they don't see the Youngevity business plan presentation, then they'll have no idea how they're going to be financially free. And since that's the #1 disease in the world, it's called bronchitis. The #1 disease that needs a cure on this planet, and so far nobody's come up with a good one that's gone public, because the world doesn't want you to be free financially. They need you to be dependent financially. That's the way we're set up as a society. They don't want you to be healthy. I mean, seriously, it just bothers me so much I can hardly stand it. But I just saw an article this morning. There's things that catch my attention. I was looking at this article, and it said that some higher ups in politics, I'm not going to mention any names because it doesn't make any difference. I just want the point to be heard here. Some higher ups in the black community in politics went to Obama and they begged him to put a ban on menthol cigarettes. Okay, so the flavoring of menthol makes it more possible or desirous to become addicted to cigarettes, and they're saying, please put a ban on these. And they couldn't convince anybody yet to put that ban on these particular cigarettes. Now, help me out here. Let's just cut all the stuff right off the top and say, don't we all know that cigarettes can cause cancer?
Yeah.
Don't we all know that?
Yeah.
Where's the FDA in this picture? If they can kill people, why do we allow them to be legal?
Right.
I mean, seriously. If they don't want you to speed, then why do they make cars that go 200 miles an hour? It's because they need you to get in an accident. They need you to go to the hospital. They need you to get in trouble. They need you to get a speeding ticket. Do you see how this is working out? As many diseases as possible are acceptable on this planet so that there's more reason that you'll go into a for-profit system so that you have to use the medical system. Do you follow where this is going?
Yes.
Okay. Let's just wake up and understand that there are some things that you have to not trust that are going to be worked out for you. You have to figure it out. You need to be financially free. You've got to take action on this plan. So back to this point, the CEO pack sets you up to be financially independent. Without one of those, you're just giving yourself a lesser likelihood that you'll get financially free faster. Okay, so this is the fast track. Number 3 in your 5-point system or plan here. Number 3 is that you must make a list. You must make a list. This is your personal roadmap, and it will determine how quickly you rank advance. Now, when you say a list, this is really interesting because some people make a list of like the lowest hanging fruit they can find. And I don't want you to make that kind of a list. Here's the list I want you to make. Moving forward, when you make your list, I want you to think of the people that you have connections to that are the hungriest, most on fire, most successful, most motivated, most roll up your sleeves kind of people, most I know that hard work and sacrifice pays off. That mindset is what you want to do. Who do you know that's entrepreneurial, that knows that sometimes you have to slave away day after day, 20 hours a day to get the American dream? Who do you know that's willing to work so hard that they don't expect anything for nothing? Put those people on your list. You know the kind of people that you might want to leave off your list, at least initially, is all the people that have a bellyache. And that's a metaphor for every little problem you can think of that occurs inside the human body. Leave all those people off your list. Now you're probably going, that is so mean. That is so cruel. Don't we have the greatest health message in the world? What about Dr. Wallach's years and years of dedication to 90 for life and all of the stuff that those nutrients are able to do to improve somebody's quality of life? We haven't forgotten that. As a matter of fact, it's right in the forefront. And I'm going to go save all those people just like you are, but you have to come through the right door, not the wrong door. Are you catching this?
Yes.
Okay, here's the thing. If you want to save somebody, I know, okay, so this is going to be recorded. It's going to be all over the internet. And so let me choose my words carefully. Watch. There is no such thing as a cure. We're not supposed to say that word. There is no such thing as us having products that heal people. That doesn't happen. What we do know is that people have followed Dr. Wallach's advice, and they end up telling a story that is really a happy one. Have you ever heard those stories floating around before?
Yes.
And it may or may not be possible that it is correlated somehow to what Dr. Wallach talks about and all the advice that he's given people over the years. Are you following?
Yes.
Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
Yes.
Okay. If we were on camera, I'd talk a little bit differently, but we're being recorded and we're on camera. So that being said, we want to give the best hope that we possibly can to people physically. And we want to give the best hope we can to people financially. And we don't want anybody to be without one or the other of those two benefits if they're capable for the taking, correct?
Yes.
So the best way they're going to have the likelihood of having their life impacted in both of those areas is for you to show them the entire business plan. Everything they need to know, whether it's physically related or financially related, all with the bow of giving them time freedom and hope of owning their life, it's going to be wrapped up in the business plan. So instead of making your list of all the people with a bellyache, can you call those, what would you say to those people anyways? How do you, I don't even know. You guys could, maybe somebody here could teach me. Actually, don't. I don't want to know. Some people, though, they pick up the phone, and I can only imagine what they say. You call them up, and you tell them, I know you have a bellyache, and I've got the perfect thing for you to get rid of your bellyache. Okay, great. So they bought a product from you. So what? It doesn't give you time freedom. It doesn't give you financial freedom. And you know what? That person with a bellyache, don't you think that they've already had 25 other people show up to them with some solution for their bellyache, and you're now number 26. So they say, wow, thanks for thinking of me. You know what? My bellyache is really awful. And, you know, I hear what you're saying, but I've already had everybody else approach me about a solution for the bellyache. How do I know that what you're telling me is different than the other 25 people? And now you're going, yes, I've almost got one. So what are you going to do? You're going to go do all this research for them. It's to take you weeks. It's to take you months. And then you're going to give it to them, and they're going to say, well, I just got some other research, and it didn't quite sound like your research. What else do you have? And you're going to run all over the world gathering research and information, and it's going to take so much time out of your life. And at the very end of the day, maybe, possibly, could be, they'll buy a canister of Beyond Tangy Tangerine from you for $50. And you're going, really? That was a lot of work. And no duplication, no possibility of that person going out and showing somebody else how the business works, right? All they know is you were their slave for 6 months so they could buy a $50 canister of Beyond Tangy Tangerine. That is so horrible, in my opinion.
Yes.
What you want to do is don't look at anybody from that set of lenses. Look at everybody as you're going to provide them the whole package. Then when they see the plan, even if they do have a bellyache, are you helping them?
Yeah.
Yes. At the same time, though, they see the bigger picture and they go, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I had no idea. And now they're going to make a list and they're going to follow this yellow brick road that you're on right now. And instead of them buying a product from you, they're going to go, I know 50 people who need what we have to offer through this company. And they're now going to pick up the phone and they're going to help you build a team. That's what you want. Do you see the kind of list that you want to be building?
Yes.
Okay, so here's why you build the list. The whole point in building the list is so that they can see the business plan of Youngevity. This is a business, and business people have a certain language that they speak. If you went to a bank and asked to borrow money, they're going to say, show me your business plan. They don't say, I hear you want to borrow money, sell me a product. They say, show me your business plan. And everybody that wants to be financially free, they want to see the business plan. So that's what you're going to show them. The fourth thing in the yellow brick road is you need to understand the language to communicate. It's called the invite. The invite. So far, let's recap real quickly. You had imagination, you had CEO pack, you had list, and now you have the invite. Okay? So who here would allow me to use them as an example to demonstrate the invite? Who here would allow me to do that? Okay, so let me just hold your hand up for a second. Who here has currently a successful career? Okay, all right, Andrew, I'm going to use you because you embody probably a lot of the corporate world. And so when we think about putting people on lists, you're actually the guy that a lot of people would not put on their list because they'd be intimidated by you. You might be considered the obstacle in somebody's head, like, oh, Andrew's so smart, he's so successful, he makes 6 figures a year, already lives in the fancy house, et cetera, and they talk themselves out of it, but you're the person that I want people to put on their list. You guys want to hear how I would invite Andrew?
Yes.
You guys want to hear this?
Yes.
Okay, this is how you have no troubles going to Andrew and you want to call him first. Somebody like him would be a whale. Don't you think that he's got a lot of influential friends?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the guy that you want to go get is him. But he's the least likely person that most people put on their list. So now you've made a list and you've got guys like Andrew on there or other hotshot millennials. Don't go to the millennials that want to sit and play Xbox all day long. Go to the millennials who are fired up and just waiting for somebody to say, here's what we're going to do. Put those millennials on your list. So here's how I would invite Andrew. And this is just years of experience, and it's so ingrained in my head, I can just shoot from the hip. I'm not nervous. My palms are not sweaty. My heart rate is the same that it was before I brought the topic up. It makes no difference to me whatsoever. So instantly, I'd say, okay, I'm going to call up Andrew. So I call up Andrew on the phone, and I say, hey, Andrew. And whatever our relationship is, I might say, hey, it's Fardulis. And he'd say, hey, what's up, Fardulis? Or I might say, hey, this is Scott. Andrew, do you have a couple minutes right now? Whatever your language is, just speak your tone and your language. So I call up Andrew. Hey, Andrew, it's Scott.
Hey, Scott, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Hey, listen, I need about 2 minutes of your time right now. Is this the right time, or should I call you back later on when it's more convenient?
No, now's perfect.
Now's perfect. Time out. Why did I ask him if right now he had 2 minutes?
Make sure he's not distracted.
I'm making sure he's not distracted. I want all of him right now. And I also put him on notice that I didn't call up to have a chit chat.
Yeah.
So in 2 minutes, I couldn't possibly have an agenda and tell him about my kids and ask him about his and find out how everything in his world is going on. So when I say 2 minutes, he now knows I better listen because he's only got 2 minutes. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I say, hey, Andrew, you know what? You've been on my mind lately. And you and I go back a little ways, and we have a pretty good understanding of each other's lives. And we both had moments of great success and epic failures. But Andrew, I want you to know, as great as my life has been, and as much of a blessing as I feel as all of my experiences have been, nothing compares, even comes close to the most exciting and recent chapter that is unfolding in my life right this second. And I cannot stop thinking about how you might possibly fit into that chapter. I don't want to go into details right now, but Andrew, as well as I think I know you, and as successful as you've been, let me just take a guess. How valuable would it be for you right now to be able to own as much of your time as you possibly could?
Scott, you know that's important for me. You know I'm just working too hard right now.
And I'm after the exact same thing. And knowing you the way I do, I could not be a good friend and not let you know that I'm after time freedom. I want to get together with you as fast as possible. Like I'm talking the next 24 to 48 hours and sit down and run some information by you. How would that sound to you?
I'm busy the next 3 days, but next Tuesday I've got some time.
Perfect. I'm penciling you in. And we're going to set that time right there. Done. I got an appointment, and now we're off the phone, and I'm inside my 2 minutes. Andrew, I'll catch up with you later, buddy. Have an awesome day. And by the way, as my good friend Nikki would say, good luck sleeping tonight. So now what just happened right there? I mean, I just hit his hot button, and here are the 4 components. You want to write all these down. Every single invite must contain the 4 components. Here are what they are. Value, curiosity, sense of urgency, fear of loss. Fear of loss. Value, curiosity, sense of urgency, fear of loss. In your mind, as you went through that invite, could you hear the different components baked into that invite? I've got 2 minutes. I established that we're both busy and successful. As much as I know you, I'll bet you'd love to own as much of your time as possible. So that, and he knows we're on the same page, he can spend more time with his wife, spend more time with his kids, do things that he cares about. The curiosity is I didn't go into any details. That's how you build curiosity. Don't give out details. Have you ever heard, I know you have, so say what you think comes next. I'll say the first part, you say the last part. Curiosity killed the cat. Facts didn't kill the cat. Curiosity killed the cat. So if I would have said, hey, Andrew, longevity, Dr. Wallach,
20 years.
keto, 20 years, dead doctors don't lie. I mean, if I went down that path, which is what a lot of people do, then there's no curiosity as well. Matter of fact, before you get off the phone, oh, you know what? This sounds like something, and then you're done.
Right.
Okay? You don't want it to sound like anything they've ever heard before. So curiosity goes a long ways. Got it?
Got it.
Okay, now, if you want one more little piece of that invite, here's what I would do. And this is what you want to do if you at all possibly can. This is plan A. I'd say, hey, Andrew, as close as we've been, in this new chapter that I'm talking about, what I really want you to know is that I have locked arms with somebody that I have more respect, and I know you'll appreciate this because you've met some amazing people in your life as well. I have more respect for these people than potentially anybody I've ever met in my life. And the impact they're having on me right now to own that time freedom is absolutely paramount. I cannot make you any promises, Andrew, but I'm going to do my very best. Between now and Tuesday when we meet, I'm going to do my very best to put you on the phone to meet somebody that I would now call a mentor to me in this area of my life. And because of them, that's why this new chapter is unfolding so perfectly. And now he's like, man, I got to meet this person. I'm hungry to meet this person. This sounds amazing. And then the fear of loss comes in. I cannot promise you anything or make you any guarantees, but this person is going to be speaking downtown Denver at 7 p.m. this week. I'll send you the address. I don't know when or if ever they'll ever be back, but what I do know is that I can introduce you to them really quickly over the phone and then have you meet them in person on Thursday. See how that invite works so well? You have everybody showing up when you talk like that. And your goal isn't to be the expert, it's to be the person that knows how to invite the best and put the butts in the chairs. That is your job as a professional network marketer, is to be so good at all these other areas that we're talking about, to be so good at those areas that they all manifest and come together to equal you being a great inviter and someone that puts a body in a chair to hear an expert, someone that's really refined and the best person possible in front of a room talking to the masses and helping people understand this powerful message. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, do you have it?
Yes.
Any question about that piece of it? Okay, so there's an acronym we're working here. We had I, we had C, we had L, we have I, that was the invite, and now we have P. So the acronym is ICLIP, ICLIP. That's your 5-point duplication system, ICLIP. And this is where you get plugged in. That's what P stands for, plug in. So plugged in to what? Whatever is a money-making activity. There are so many things that you could plug into, but I just want you to think to yourself, as you hear about something you could plug into, ask yourself, is this a money-making activity? And will this help me grow my business so I can rank, advance, and duplicate and grow my team so that that dream I have will come true? There's a few conference calls during the week that you might want to plug into. I love the one, if you're an early bird, Tom Chenault's Hair on Fire call, 6:30 a.m. It's a great call. That's a great call to be on. It's every day, Monday through Friday, the Hair on Fire call. On Thursdays, I do once a week. It's called the Blitz call. Now, Blitz, if you look up the word or the definition of that, it's an all-out assault. It's an all-out attack. It's a militaristic attack simultaneously by a group of people. And what we're doing is we're creating a sudden all-out attack on your dream. Together, suddenly and militaristically, we are attacking and we are fighting for your dream. And that's what the Blitz call is all about. We interview successful people, people that are rank advancing. Coral and Jen have been on there. Joel has spoken on that call. Lenny and Tom Sharp have spoken on that call just in this room. Who else has been on that call that has been interviewed? Anybody else that's been interviewed? Okay, so how do you get on that call? By rank advancing. That's how you get on that call as somebody to be interviewed. And everybody else has the opportunity to listen and say, wow, okay, I needed that. I need to see what they're doing compared to what I'm doing. I might need to tweak a couple things, but there's another call. Every single week, here's what you do. You say, where do I live and what's the closest meeting weekly that I can plug into? And then you put it on your calendar, and no matter what, you show up. Because remember that motto? You build your life around longevity. So if you take out your calendar and you say, here's everything that's money making that I should do inside of Youngevity, you put all that in the calendar for the next year. And you work backwards. When are the major events? So right now, you go to your calendar, you say, okay, August, I think it's 16 or something like that, August 16th. You block out that entire weekend, Wednesday through Sunday, because you need a day to travel on either side. And you put it in your calendar now. So it couldn't possibly sneak up on you in the course of a year where you'd say, oh, you know, this or that came up. No, it didn't. It didn't come up. You put it in your calendar, build your life around Youngevity, and you go, okay, that's a year from now. That's our next big convention. What's happening else? The next big thing are our regional events. I don't know the dates on them yet. If anybody else does, I guess they're posted somewhere, but they're going to be in January. They're the regional events. There's one on the West Coast, there's one on the Midwest, and there's one on the East Coast, and those are in January. When those dates come out, which will be imminently very soon, you put them in your calendar, and nothing stops you from attending the closest one to you. Backing up from that, what else is going on? You're going to have Super Saturday trainings. So whenever you find out about a Super Saturday, you put it in your calendar. It's like this, and nothing stops you. And then backing up beyond that, what's the next smallest thing from there? It would be your weekly meetings. So your weekly meetings, you say, okay, which one am I going to commit to? Or which ones am I going to commit to? For example, I host a meeting in my town up north in Loveland every Wednesday night at 7. Every single Wednesday night, that meeting goes off at 7 o'clock, and it's awesome. You know, we had a packed house just this last week. Some of you in this room were at that event. We had, you know, a great overview. Thank you. We have great testimonies. We have different speakers. Joel spoke about what's going on with the millennials, and so many people contribute to pull off those events. If that much effort goes into it, don't you think we think it's valuable?
Yes.
Or we wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So if it's that valuable to people putting it on, then it should be that valuable to say, wait a second, I want to be like them. I want to rank events like them. If that's how they're spending their time, then copy it. Just copy it. And if you don't live near a meeting, then that's your opportunity to say, okay, I'm going to step up and start one.
Yeah.
That's what you do. So beyond that, you're backing down. Now you've got conference calls, webinars, things of that nature to plug into, and that's how you build your calendar. It's really simple. That's how you stay engaged. That's how you rank advance. That's how you duplicate. And I am telling you, you put some goals and dreams down, you start wrapping yourself into that system, and then here's the icing on the cake. That's what you do. But don't be selfish. Remember, you've got a team. What you should think about every conference call that you plan to commit to because it's the right thing to do, every weekly meeting, every Super Saturday, every regional event, every single major corporate event like a convention, every time you're going, okay, I've got a team. And you've got to put a text blast together, and every time something's coming up, don't think for a second that somebody like Marianne, for example, is going to blanket all your people and do all the promoting for you. No, you do it. I texted Alice Brewer this morning. Raise your hand. I texted this woman right here this morning. I asked her, and I informed her, and I notified her about today. And she says, I'm coming. I'll be there. I'm on my way. Who did you communicate with today? Did you just come thinking that everybody else would figure it out? Or did you in advance have a proactive thought that says, I don't want people to be caught off guard. If I promote at the last minute, people will have excuses. But if you promote enough in advance and you say, hey, this weekend coming up several days from now is Super Saturday training. I'm going to be there. I hope you will be too. How many people do you have coming? Send me your numbers. Then you have people all on the same page. They're committed. Your leaders are on board. And then you start a little game. Let's see which team can get the most people to Super Saturday. And do something about that. Promotions, promotions, promotions. Coral Talk, building a meeting culture, an event culture, that's what we do. Because if you don't do this, here's the only other possibility. You don't do it. You either do it or you don't do it. Let's tell you what happens if you don't do it. Then your people are uninformed. So goes your success is based on how you go as a leader. So if you don't have the results you want in your business, it's probably because you haven't had a self-check in the mirror lately. You have to have some self-talk sometimes to say, am I leading effectively? Am I setting the example? Am I setting the pace? Am I doing what I expect other people to do because I'm doing it first? Will they pick on me because they tell me or because I tell them what I want them to do, but I don't do it myself. Don't be hypocritical. You do it every single time. And oh, by the way, when that sometimes every now and then blue moon thing comes up, communicate with your team. So they're not wondering about you or guessing about you. You say, this is so important. I just want you to know, I won't be able to be there as much as it pains me to not be there with you. Please be there. I'm counting on you to carry the torch in my absence. I've got to attend my grandmother's funeral. Let them know, because people will step up and rally around you when they know that you're counting on them to be your teammate. Make sense? How do you like this system? Clear? Concise? Simple? Easy to follow? It really is. It really is. And I trust that if you'll put this system into play and really start to work it like that, you'll duplicate fast, you'll build a solid, dependable, loyal, long-term, deeply rooted business. There are businesses in this company that are very thin and very superficial. You don't want one of those kinds of businesses. You want a kind that has lots of roots to it, that go deep down into the soil, that you couldn't come along and yank whatever that plant is growing out because it's got so many tentacles underneath the soil. That's the kind of business that you want. And you'll have it by developing the system. So to wrap things up today, I'd like to ask a few people one at a time to stand, and we'll have a few of you come forward based on your rank. But I want to ask here in this room, we always want to recognize people. So let's go through each rank right now, and let's just show each other how much we appreciate each other. And it's an encouragement for all of you to step up and say, okay, I'm going to go to the next level. So first off, do we have any individuals in here that just got started that are brand new CEOs in the last couple of weeks? Anybody a brand new CEO? So this is Tiffany, correct? Yep. So Tiffany, I mean, look at this. She's obviously had a lot of reasons to not be here today, and she's holding one of them. So there's not very many people that would say, you know what, I need this so badly that even at the cost of having to get up and leave because my baby is crying, I am going to be there. And she did. So thank you, Tiffany, for being here. Congratulations on getting started and being a brand new CEO. How many people are here right now that are not yet CEOs, but they're brand new? They're plugging in, they're engaging, they're in the process of getting started. Let me see your hands. Okay, right here. What's your name, sir? Where are you from? Joel?
I'm here in Denver. I'm from New Mexico.
From New Mexico. Very good. We appreciate you being here today.
Dan, originally from New York. I met Joel a couple weeks ago and just started talking about health, and it really got me curious. So, but I mean, it's just super exciting. So,
Outstanding.
why not?
And who's this amazing lady sitting next to you?
This is Audra. Met her actually for the first time today.
Excellent. She's still amazing, even though you just met her today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're talking online a little bit. She's from Iowa.
Oh, great.
I've been up here. This is my 5th trip since the beginning of the year that I've been to Colorado this year.
Great.
And we have 2 or 3 more trips before December, the end of December to come up. So it's my home away from home.
Great. Excellent. So did you invite Audra to come here after chatting online?
Yep.
So you've been talking online and you invited her to be here and you're just meeting for the first time right now?
Yeah.
Okay, who in here is a regional marketing director? Would you please stand if you're a regional marketing director? You young man in the back room, how old are you now? 15. 15, and you're a regional marketing director. Yep. And why are you building the business? Olympic college business. Nice.
Nice.
Give him a hand. That's the responsibility right there. I'll bet your parents are proud. Because they don't have to pay for it, right? Cool. All right, who who in here is an executive marketing director? Please stand. See, we already have somebody right in advance. It doesn't take that long. Take her grade after this. I need to do that too. So, okay, and how about senior executive marketing directors? Are there any senior executive marketing directors? Outstanding. Anyone in this room that is a vice presidential marketing director? You stand. Anybody in this room that is a presidential marketing director? All right, come on up. So we heard from Coral and Jen, but we're going to give these two just 2 minutes to just share real quickly. And first of all, Lanny and Tom Sharp. Just, you're not going to meet anybody that is more down to earth. You're not going to meet anybody that's more genuine. I mean, look at this face right here. She is the best hugger in the whole world.
Yeah.
And she is the best sloppy kisser you're ever going to meet.
How do you know that? Really? It's on his lip.
So, Tom and Lanny, thank you so much. You two have been amazing leaders, phenomenal troopers, and you've been out in Kansas, and you've forged such a great path. You got an unbelievable team. You rank advanced a couple months ago to presidential. Your mother actually was an SEMD in the company, and she passed away last year. And how old was she when she passed away?
95.
Wow. 95, and an SEMD. And I'll never forget the day that we got to pick her up in her wheelchair and take her up on the stage and have her cross stage. What an incredible honor and privilege that was. Wasn't that neat?
That was awesome.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make you cry today.
Thanks a lot.
So thank you. We would like to hear from you. So Tom and Lanny, you can mix it up, but just give us a couple minutes of what it means to you to be here, to be part of an amazing company like this, to be presidential marketing directors. How does that feel? What's going on for you guys?
Well, I speak first because I won't get any time if she starts. You millennials out there, you know, you're talking 1935. Our kids are all older than that. We got grandkids that are that age.
Millennials.
Yeah. Anyway, what did you ask us?
How does it feel to be here? What's the journey been like? What are you thankful for?
The journey hasn't been fast.
No, Excel and Black Hills.
Yeah.
We used to be able to call them and say, hey, we want to see what the average was for the last year. They stopped doing that. I don't know. I know. No, or they don't even want to. They don't even want you to know how much.
Just like Scott has said. And Joel came, he just signed up last night. I got a text at 12 o'clock last night because we're in Kansas and it was a little later there, but his sponsor just sponsored him last night at 10:30 from New Mexico. So he lives in Denver. They were on the phone, said, this guy's coming, go take care of him for us. And so that's why we're here.
Oh, wow.
And not only that, we're here for our kids too. Our kids are in love with our granddaughter is playing ball And so we are going to take Joel and teach him a little bit before we leave for that ball game. But I'm here because I am so excited about the love that is shared in this company. There is so much. It doesn't matter if you're sideline or downline or upline or wherever you are in this company. We're all here to help you and to help get whatever we need. Somebody like Robert just told me today, I have a guy in Clovis, New Mexico. We're going there on the 22nd to do a meeting. And so if we can help his guy get started in Clovis, New Mexico, that's where we'll be. We're also going to Round Rock on Saturday. And while we're there, we get to watch a ball game with our grandkids in Texas. So that's why we're here. We love doing what we're doing. We love you. And I love what Scott told me before the convention. He said, you've got 5 legs. Take somebody from every leg. Represent every leg in your downline at that convention. And we had somebody in every line in that convention. It was huge. That meant so much. And I just think of him as my little boy. Mothers give sloppy kisses to their boys.
Isn't this fun? This is so much fun. Okay, any vice chairmans in here? Senior vice chairmans? Diamond chairmans? Pretty close, pretty close. Okay, so Juliet, come up here for a quick second. So, if you haven't met my wife, she is amazing.
I get this.
Yes. Yes. Well, I'll tell you, we're in this too. We've enjoyed the journey of all the different ranks. It's meant something. Each rank has meant something different for us. In the very beginning, I think the ranks were about, for us, in some ways, survival. It was like we had, remember the first couple of ranks we hit, just how tight everything was, and it wasn't always easy, was it?
No, it wasn't, and it was worth the effort to, at the end of the month, evaluate your business. And if you don't know how to do that, you need to ask your upline, and if they don't, ask their upline until you can find someone that can help you. Get into your back office and look at the qualifications tabs. And at first, it's intimidating if you're not a numbers person. I know how many of you have figured it out, and now you know how valuable it is to take charge of your business. This is a business, it's a people business, but it's also about the numbers. And so we would look through and see, oh no, they got 47 QB. Why did they do that? They need 50 so that line can be, qualified. That's an example of just taking charge of that and having them, hey, did you know you're 3 QB short of being qualified? And then that helps you qualify, it helps them qualify. So those kind of little steps we made sure to do all along the way so that we didn't miss out on a rank advancement. So make sure that you know how to do that, and you'll start jumping up the ranks. And yes, it was baby steps for us. So starting out, we got excited when I remember we could just pay our car payment before we got the car bonus with our commissions from the longevity. Wow, this is awesome. We can pay our car payment with this. Wouldn't it be cool, we were dreaming, if we could pay our house payment? Well, what do we need to do to do that? Well, no, we need to be this level. Then we could pay our house payment and our car payment. And then, Jody paid the car payment because we got the car bonus. So, then you think, oh, wouldn't it be great if we could get out of debt and pay all of our credit cards off? And then we did that. And so this is possible. You can all do it. And like Coral said in her opening talk, we just believe. That's where it comes first. You think, well, how can I believe when I don't have the results? You have to believe first. You just piggyback on our belief that we did it and that others have done it and that you can do it too. Why not you? And why not now?
we want you to know that, we're doing our best to be humble, be very open, to be very authentic, and to let you see what this part of the journey looks like for us as well. We don't want to be silent warriors and just all of a sudden, here we are. We've been open about the fact we've been through some tough times. We want people to know that we've got stuff too. Our house was foreclosed on years ago. We had a car that was repossessed years ago, and so we've lived some interesting, tough times. And it's because of beautiful people like you, filled with love and compassion and passion and mercy and grace and acceptance. This family welcomed us into longevity and allowed us to be who we were, but to also work on ourselves and be the best that we could be. And we've attempted to give that back as a gift to everybody in the journey and along the process. And we just feel so privileged to be here and to have the success. And it's not an individual sport, it's a team sport. You have to build up other people around you, or it's impossible to stand on any particular platform. So here we are. We have a chance to, we've had the privilege of making history in longevity. We're the first ones to qualify and enter qualification for Diamond Chairman inside of longevity, and that's been just an incredible honor to be able to do that. It's not a simple position to qualify for. It takes a lot of hard work, like everything else. And you stay the course, and you just keep going. You keep on believing in people, developing into people, raising up people, telling people that they can be a bigger, better leader than they already are, and have them believe that. And when all that happens together, then things like this can occur. So it's a 3-month qualification. July, we did it the first time. August, we did it our second time. Now we're in September. This is our third and final month to complete out this Diamond Chairman Marketing Director position. So we thank all of you for being our family and for loving on us and being around us. And we look forward to all of you guys enjoying this celebration with us. And there will be a party. Believe you me, there will be a party. So what we're going to do is we're all going to Rome for a week, and we're going to go have a little fun there. So anyhow, that part's a joke, but we will have a fun. Thank you for being here. One last thing, on Thursday, we are going to have a unique weekly meeting that's not on the schedule all the time. I'll be down in Denver on Thursday night, and we'll post the address on the meeting locator, and I will make sure that if you guys can type fast, let me just give it to you right now. Here's the address for Thursday. So we don't always have meetings downtown. This one's going to be downtown Denver. It's going to be in a conference room on the lower level of a major condominium high-rise. The cool factor is going to be all over the place. So you want to get the word out. Here's the address. You want to tell people to be there. Build on this momentum that's going on here. Here's the address. It is 1850 Bassett Street. B-A-S-S-E-T-T. 1850 Bassett Street. That's Denver, Colorado, 80202. I have no idea what parking looks like. A city is a city is a city. It is right downtown. So plan an extra half an hour with your guests so that they're not getting there right at 7 and then confused with parking. So tell them to be there early. Find parking. I understand there's parking in the area, but I couldn't tell you what that looks like. So this Thursday, 7 o'clock. We have a meeting in this room on Tuesday night this week. So this Tuesday, Tom and Denise Chenault, our mentors, the people that sponsored and enrolled us into the business, will be here. And to see them is a rarity. They move all over the nation. They're all over creation. They're out of town this weekend. So when they're here, you want to be here. And then Wednesday, we have the meeting in Loveland. That's at the Embassy Suites Hotel. You all know where that is. It's right next door to the Budweiser Event Center, Wednesday at 7 p.m. Incredible meeting. So you can see how these build on each other, and we take all that momentum straight into the heart of Denver. Let's all pack out the house. Who do you know from Colorado Springs to Aurora to Evergreen, all the way up to Fort Collins, that can rain down on Denver on Thursday night at 7. So there's lots of opportunities this week, guys. You're welcome to hang out here as long as you want to for a little while this afternoon. You want to have questions answered or get to know people. Let's have some fun. Thanks for being here. Go out and have a great weekend.